All right, so we have a surprise. I mean, there's no getting around it. That's how we have to describe this move. It is a very shocking move that happened. I don't think anyone had Yannick Ngakoue getting traded under bingo card this season, but it does kind of make some sense if you think about it. Let's talk about it from Ngakoue's perspective. First, one of the things about Yannick Ngakoue is that he's the type of player who people have always talked about how he kind of needs to be in a specific scheme to really succeed. He's more of a 4-3 defensive end than he is a 3-4 edge rusher. So getting him, when he was with Baltimore, it didn't really work out as well. So I'm assuming that I don't know the scheme that the Raiders are really going to play. I don't think it's been announced yet entirely because they have a new defensive coordinator. So what's exactly going to happen? But I'm assuming this is a scheme thing where they decided, you know what, Yannick Ngakoue doesn't really fit what we're doing here. So instead, they make the trade. Now, the official details of the trade itself have not been announced entirely. We do know one of the pieces they're getting back is Rock Ya-Sin, which I like that. I think that makes sense. I think getting Rock Ya-Sin back is he's a valuable asset. And he's another guy who maybe the Colts fans are saying, like, well, we didn't want to get rid of him. He's a cornerback for them. But what you're doing in that is that you're getting a guy who actually he excels more in man coverage than zone coverage. So to me, just what this tells me is the Raiders are going to play a similar defense to what we've seen the Patriots play the past few years of kind of this, 3-4 potentially, but at least have some of those in your system of 3-4 sets more so than the Raiders did last year, where they basically just ran one coverage. They'll probably play more man. I think Rock Ya-Sin can certainly be effective in zone as well, but man is where he thrives, which, listen, that can be fluky, so there's a bit of a risk factor there. But I get the logic, and then for the Raiders, you're also adding Chandler Jones, so you're not losing a edge rusher here. Now, you are losing some money because you clear up $7 million with the Yannick Ngakoue trade, but then you have to pay $17 million, roughly is what they said, to Chandler Jones. So you're losing about $10 million to make that move. But as a whole, I think that there's some logic behind this, as you're basically saying we're going to trade someone and then use some of that money to sign somebody else. So we're clearing up some money. We're still getting the edge rusher, and we're getting Rock Ya-Sin back. And again, as more details come out of the exact trade, there could be some other aspect. Actually, no. Okay, detail just came out now. Player for player. So no picks whatsoever. It's legitimately a 1-for-1. Don't see those in the NFL too often. Yannick Ngakoue for Rock Ya-Sin. I don't hate it. I know that on paper it does seem like, oh my God, Yannick Ngakoue, he's the better player. What are we doing here? And yeah, that's probably fair. But Rock Ya-Sin's a lot cheaper, and money matters in this stuff. And, Yannick Ngakoue's on the last year of his contract. You have a lot more control over Rock Ya-Sin. So that's the logic behind it. That being said, for the Colts, I do like this move. They don't value corners as much in their defensive scheme, which I'm assuming will stay the same. They also have a new defensive coordinator, as Matt Eberflus, now is the head coach for the Chicago Bears. But still, I would assume that you would have at least a similar scheme, kind of not exactly the same of what we saw the Raiders last year, but somewhat similar, and that's probably why Yannick Ngakoue is important in that scheme. So, you guys know where I stand on this stuff. I'm typically, when there's a corner getting traded for an edge rusher, I value corner more, and I think that Josh McDaniels does as well, which is why the Raiders made this move. Interesting move, though, and one you don't see happen too often, so I'm definitely very fascinated by it, and I get the logic. I know that saying good trade for both sides is so boring. You want to say who won the trade, who lost the trade, all that stuff. I think this is a good trade for both sides. That's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm sticking to. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Who do you think won the trade? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.